I'm with the Bavarian state government. So Bavaria is a state like California or Texas or what have you in the US. We have the Ministry of Economy, and I'm in the media department, responsible for all the audiovisual media funding and policies regarding that matter.
I'm working in the Bavarian Film Fund, which is a local fund, funding film production, scripts, development and sales, and of course, and international co-production as well. And I'm responsible for movie production and international co-productions.
We're international film partners. I'm working with international film partners together with Markus. We're a business consulting company. On the one hand, we are consultant for producers. On the other hand, we're a consultant for service providers on international business.
I'm the managing director of that company. There's a group of companies actually belonging to International Film Partners Group. So we do have the film partners situation with helping the film production. We can tell you everything about subsidies, co-financing opportunities, especially out of Europe, especially out of Germany, of course. We can offer you the full infrastructure to do your physical production in Germany, so with a co-production entity, but also with additional financing. So we are official registered financing broker, and we're specialized in structuring of production concepts, financing, financial engineering, and the whole stuff. On the one hand, the whole situation from pre-production to distribution for financiers or producers or distribution companies, or of course also service companies. But on the other hand, we work a lot on slate stuff, so on bigger production houses, on a permanent basis, on a monthly payment situation. Normally we start with a risk assessment of the whole situation. So who is the lead producer, who are your partners regarding distribution, co-financing, regarding script assessment, whole project assessment, and then starting from that we come up with a production concept, most of the time including more than one country. So most of the time it's more efficient to combine several territories or countries or financing situations. And then we come up with several ideas depending on what you're looking for regarding not also financing, also working permissions, logistics, travel situation. Is it a 20 million budget show? You're probably looking more regarding East Europe. Is it a 200 million? You're probably looking more with higher stars, with bigger stars, into better logistic situations with airports and whatever infrastructure. It depends on more the individual projects. You cannot say, well, we're looking for whatever historical stuff or so. What we're looking for is the perfect setup in total, which means timing, availability of crews, of space, of shooting, of soft monies, of financing, things like that. And whenever you come to us with a project, we would have the look from outside on your project. Every producer got an idea and a system how to produce and finance his projects, and whenever one part falls apart, so everything is in danger. And as we see so many different concepts of doing, so we can be more creative regarding finding the right solution. We look into a certain elements, but we know all the advantages of our territory. So we know there's only one co-production treaty out there between Canada and Germany allowing third country creative elements like director or writer. So whenever you have a US-American writer-director situation shooting in France, you would probably use the Canadian-German co-production treaty whenever it goes to a treaty co-production, just to shoot in France with US talent and with no element included from Germany. It really depends. So we have a lot of opportunities to combine soft monies out of Germany, and most of the time in Europe it's enough to just shoot in that region and spend money there. But in Germany it works different, so you have to have a German crew. It doesn't matter where you shoot, so you can dip into Germany with using the German crew and shooting abroad and kind of double dipping your soft monies.
for production funding, the producers will come to us, will show us his film, how we will gonna finance it, maybe what kind of partners there are, and there we talk about how funding it's be possible. In the end, we have a board for the decisions, and there's always a competitions between different movie projects. They are come to us and asking for money. Of course, we are the Bavarian Film Fund, so we look if the film will be produced in Bavaria. That's, of course, there's a very important issue. But on the other side, of course, script is the most important thing. And then, of course, the financing status, what kind of partners he will get or already have, the cast, of course, and who's the director, the track record of the producer. That's all together. Then, in the end, makes the decision. It must be a good story in the end. Story to convince the audience that they go to the cinema or look at the TV, and that's can be all kind of stories. And of course, we have a lot of historical stories from Germany, but we have international ones as well. And for the international co-productions, of course, we have financed, for example, Snowden, the film from Oliver Stone, which was mainly shoot in Bavaria, which has no anything belonging to us, but it was an interesting story. We believed in it. Well,
recently, The Happy Prince with Rupert Everett.
With Rupert Everett, we will release
example.
next year, and we had some, of course, local productions, Life of Others, which won the foreign Oscar now 8-9 years ago. Some international ones. Well, Big Game with Samuel Jackson was shot completely in Bavaria. Yeah, we have movie funding and television or serial funding. It's no problem.
I am the manager of an animation and media network, and which means that there are 21 studios involved that either do visual effects or animation or games, and they are all working and situated in the area, in the state, and they can work together for also big projects coming from the US and solving and working on them.
I'm Christoph. I'm working for Pixelmondo, a visual effects studio in Stuttgart, but we have also location here in the US. And client usually approach us either via our studio here, so that they have the contact person here on site, and then we get in touch with them and we work for them. Later on then with CineSync, so most stuff works then just online. We send the stuff and discuss it. Or of course it could be also a German client where we have the direct first contact and deal with them from there.
We fund a lot of things beginning from the script development up to cinema, but what we have a special funding scheme for our animation and VFX producers, so they can get a grant, not like normally in Germany alone. You get a grant and you get up to 20% cash, like a prepayment cash, and you also can combine it with national funding, so it's a really good deal for you and for VFX vendors, and it's really a good opportunity to buy in Baden-Württemberg. Yeah. We have the national funding scheme, which is about 20 or 25%, and then there is something special in our federal in Baden-Württemberg. It's the so-called line producer funding, and we get, in addition to the national funding, 20% as a prepayment cash for VFX vendors and animation studios.
It makes most sense to talk first to the studio you want to send the work to, and then they take care of it.
And if you don't know which studio you want to send the work to, you can call me, for example, and then I will suggest you certain studios.
We are public funding authority, so you can come to us, and then we will have a look how it works. I think the most important thing is that if you go to a VFX vendor directly, or we are looking for a VFX vendor directly, he can do all the paperwork for American or international production companies. So everything works and everything is quite easy, and we have a decision between, I think, maximum 3 weeks, and I think it's a good deal. Whereas production company, you can go to a German-based VFX vendor, and he can do all the paperwork for you, and you don't have to shoot in Baden-Württemberg or in the Stuttgart regions. You only have to spend the money for the VFX vendor, and then you get the 20% either via the VFX vendor or directly. That depends on the kind you choose the procedure.
I mean, one detail maybe to add is that the VFX vendor can be also the applicant for this grant. So it's the whole paperwork, everything is completely not on side of the American producer, more or less. The only thing the American producer has to do is to handing over some necessary information to apply for it. But as I said, the whole work is more or less then on the vendor side and not on the producer side.
And so there is no risk for the US producer.
I work for a dubbing studio called FFS, Film- und Fernsehsynchron GmbH in Berlin and Munich. So my job is head of production, and what I do is I oversee all the dubbing from American language into German language. So I'll hire basically everybody across the board, the creatives, and also do the organizational part of, if you give me an American movie, I'll turn it around and give it to you as a German movie. And that's important because German-speaking audience in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria is about 100 million people, and they all want to see American content, American productions, American movies, and they need to see it in German, because that's the majority of viewers really want to have a dubbed version of the film. All television projects are dubbed into German language. This is especially true for, of course, Netflix, Amazon, all the streaming ports. So basically, you have very, very little audiences who go to see an original content movie in English language with subtitles. That's also possible, but the demand is not growing. I think people just want to have an easy consumption of the movie. And so for that, if they have a dubbed version where they cannot tell that it's dubbed because it's a very good dub, they think, oh, this movie is just in German. And then enjoy the movie for what it is. And that's our goal, to strive for a very perfect dub so you wouldn't tell it's dubbed and then you just enjoy the film. Well, obviously there's the website. If they don't know anything about us, they can obviously go to the website and see us. But we work for the distribution companies. So if a filmmaker has a movie with 20th Century Fox or with Warner, and he says, you know what, I really want to make sure that my movie has a good distribution in Germany and has a very good dub, so people in Germany understand my film and really view the film the way I wanted it to perceive, then they can actually get in touch with us and say, hey, I heard you're the market leader, you're a very good dubbing company. I would love you guys to work on my film because I trust in your capability of making it perfect.